Oh no, it's uh-oh time. Oh no, it's uh-oh time is what I said to myself in a uh-oh voice. I had encountered powerful gankers standing atop the cliff, and they had the bubble and the elevator up. Oh no, uh-oh time. It was here again. How could I ever recover from this? I had to ask myself the question. And I knew that I had to begin an arc of storyline in which I would train to become better. And so I did. Off I went on an adventure. I'll get those gankers, I said in a uh-oh voice. And I was running a chasing a dream. But would I punish those who hadn't deserved it? Would I take out my frustrations and my powerful anger on people who weren't supposed to be subject to such violence, who could say, find out in this video that you're watching it? So I took off and I said, I have to get better if I'm ever going to come back against those gankers. It might take me a year, and that footage was from a year ago. That footage happened 1 year ago today, and today is the anniversary. Oh, it's Valentine's Day, the day they left me dead, cold in the ground. And now, here I am, returned, and this guy was just gliding around. So I went behind the tree, Kissing, and summoned up the powerful 8-armed horror. And then I used the finger thing, and it took me around to the other side to lay my trap, the trap of ages, a trap that I had learned from the powerful thing that had happened to me, the catalyst for this entire story. I was never going to trust again. I knew in my heart that I had to become the bad demon, and so I did become the bad demon. I went up the stairs and I equipped my ballista and I started shooting it. Boom! And I was hitting them, and I was really giving them something to think about. They were on fire with desire to come get me. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, if they want to come and take me, they're just going to have to prove that they have a powerful way about them that will give them what they need. And so I said, watch this. Watch this. And I said, boom, waves of darkness, and it hit. And then I said, get down here. And then I said, verticality. All in one. All in one. It was all together now. And then I used the powerful finger again. And this time, the trap was doubly set. Because I knew that that other guy, he was probably clueless. And the guy whom I was tasked with the job of defeating, he was probably also clueless and confused and had no idea what was going on. He had not witnessed so cool a thing. God hadn't chose him to be the eyes that set upon the visage of the thing that we had just witnessed. You yourself, having just witnessed it, maybe you don't understand exactly how powerful it was, but trust me, it was powerful, and I was able to level up off of the experience that I got from that. And that put me one step closer a year ago today to getting back to those dudes. But I went back and it was some other people. Oh no! Someone else had come to take their place. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to let you torture people like I was tortured here 1 year ago today. And so that's when I started laying down the law. And I had leveled up. So now I knew the secret about waves of darkness. And I hadn't learned it before. So I said, hey, I know the secret of waves of darkness now. And they said, please, please. And I said, stop talking. Nothing any of you have ever said was of any value to any person ever. In fact, me just saying random gobbledygook is more valuable than anything any of you have ever said, because I do things that are cooler than you could ever hope to be. Also, I brought the elevator up for the next invader that these idiots decided they were gonna try and gank, here on Ganker Cliff. That's where I'm from. Ganker Cliff. Oh, I was born there in the steam of a hot July summer, in the steam of a sweat storm that was pouring down out of God's ass. And it was just a stinky hell, and all it smelled like coal and wet coal trucks, and they had taken it over. They were gentrifying. They were gentrifying the Ganker Cliff where I come from. And I was like, it's not meant to be a Ganker's Cliff. It's meant to be the other thing, the thing that I would like. And so I set out to acquire a payday loan that I could use to keep my car insurance up to date, because there was a cop and he had it out for me. And so he was always trying to pull me over. But I would, anytime I saw him, I was too keen. My eyes were trained for it. And so I would see the cop, and then I would just pull in to, a Burger King or a Starbucks or whatever. And I'm not ordering any of that food. I don't have the money, okay? But I would pull in, and I would say to the person in the drive-thru window, I'd say a cop was about to pull me over because he's trying to watch out for me, is what he's trying to do. But I can't let that happen because I'm from Ganker Cliff, and they're trying to gentrify it. And so what I'm doing is I'm saving my money so that we can keep the YMCA open for the kids who don't have anywhere to go after school. And so that's what this video's about. So then what happened was I decided that I had to travel all around the world for 1 year ago today, the anniversary of the first gentrification of Ganker Cliff, when those two guys showed up originally, right? And now I'm like some sort of like reverse anti-gentrification horror golem who I'm like Jack the Ripper, the good guy for poor people. I'm like if Jack the Ripper and Robin Hood had a baby, and it was for justice and it was not associated with the stuff that Jack the Ripper did. Okay, so not like Jack the Ripper much at all, except for being inclined towards violence, but not like him in the other ways. Nothing like that. Okay, more like Robin Hood, but with a hint of maybe the Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan. How about that? Instead of Jack the Ripper. That's who my dad was. D'Artagnan was my dad, with Robin Hood, my other dad. And they raised me to believe in, community, really. And so that's what we did. And we tried to show people what it was like to have a family where maybe they didn't have one before. And so when those two gankers moved in and started to gentrify the place, they took our favorite bodega there on the cliffside, and they changed it from a bodega into a check into cash payday loan, so that all the poor people would take payday loans and then have to sell their houses to the gentrifying gankers. Right. That's what this video's about, and that's what you're seeing happen. And I was chasing him, but he would cower away from me. He would run away. They're not good people, right? They're villainous. They do villainous behaviors, right? They can't handle a loss. When you go to them and you say, "Hey, I'm shutting down this payday loan scam you guys are running," and I would show up with money that I had taken from other gankers, but I did it in a handsome way, where they couldn't arrest me. But that one cop, he was after me. That's why the cop is after me, is because, I'm working to undermine the system, and they know that, but they can't catch me because of the Robin Hood in my DNA. So, I am shutting down the payday loan places so that people can get their houses back, and they won't gentrify Ganker Cliff. All right, that's what this video is about, and so that's what I did. But when I would go and tell them, like, hey, you have to shut down the payday loan, they just disappear, right? They just fade into the bureaucratic shadows that are built to protect them, because these gankers are too big to fail, right? But that can't. I still have to try, right? And so that's what I do. We might not get the justice that we want, but we can take the justice that we get, right? And so sometimes it just has to be enough, right? And so that's 1 year ago today that those gankers opened up their first payday loan place. Okay, my name is D'Artagnan Hood, and 1 year ago today, these gankers moved in, and they opened up a payday loan place, and then they raised the rent all over Ganker Cliff, where I'm from, with my daddy, D'Artagnan, and my other daddy, Robin Hood. And there's a cop out there, and he's got it out for me because he knows that I'm trying to undermine the system. And so I keep stealing from the gentrifiers and using the money that I take to undermine their gentrification efforts and shut down their payday loan stores. And I am really good at it. And there's only one cop who has it in for me. Why does he have it in for me? Because my dad stole my other dad from him. The cop was gonna be my dad, but D'Artagnan said, "What am I doing? I can't marry a cop," so he married a Robin Hood instead. And so that's why I am like I am. Maybe my voice is a little too gruff for this. Maybe it should be a little smoother because I'm a charismatic guy. It can still have a little bit of that vocal fry, but it doesn't have to sound like I'm doing a California Batman type guy. I can just be like a cool daddy-o who had two daddy-os and a third potential daddy-o who was a cop. But then I didn't say anything. My one dad said to the would-be dad, I'm not dating a cop. I'm D'Artagnan Musketeer. And so he instead started having babies with Robin Hood. And that is what happened on Ganker Cliff 1 year ago today. But also 1 year ago today, they opened up their first payday loan place. And so now I'm out there and I'm trying to shut them all down. You're raising the rent. You're raising the rent. And you're using these payday loan places to own poor people's money, so they have to leave Ganker Island so that you can open up some sort of... You're closing down the YMCA is what you're doing. And we're not going to have that. But I finally found him again. And so now you know that it's the end of the video and the story has come full circle. And the best part about it is that the story makes sense. We learned something of value. We threw gankers off of ledges, and gankers are going to continue falling down off of ledges, and they're bad at the game. And also, these two were literally father and son, the gankers. I know that because they were stream sniping a streamer that was the other invader, Napstarf, and I was watching, and those two, that was his daddy. I'm not kidding. All right, later, y'all.